Joining me in the studio to unpack these numbers is Ganiyu Musa. He's the CEO of Cornerstone Insurance. Thank you so much, Ganiyu. It's a pleasure to have you. More so, looking at these numbers, very strong numbers for Cornerstone in the second quarter of this year. Now, of course, compared to previous numbers, it's a far cry and a huge gap. Let's start with key drivers and how this turnaround happened.
Thank you very much for having me on your program. It's a real pleasure and very nice thing on the Ebola prevention. Yes, for us at Cornerstone, it's been an interesting first half year, certainly. Although the numbers you picked up, that's our dream, and that's what we hope to achieve. For now, we're still in the hundreds of millions, not not billions. But having said that, it's a big leap, for us from what we achieved about the same time, last year. And you can put it down to a few basic things. First and foremost, we're looking closely at our portfolio. We are cutting off the non-profitable ones and focusing more on bottom line rather than the top line, if I put it just in a few words.
Okay, I mean, I'm more interested in specifics, the key drivers. Yes, you've cut here, you've made adjustment here and there, but specifics on the turnaround. In terms of the specifics, starting with the top line, yes, we grew by just 6% in terms of the top line, but if you really look at it closely on a like-for-like basis, the underlying growth is in excess of 30%. Why? Because we had to cut out a few major accounts which put together gave us more than £500 million in the same time last year, but in terms of the bottom line was not contributing to the profits. We took that out and generally did a lot more in terms of sanitizing the accounts. So the top line, the 6% growth you see there is actually not the real growth. It masks the true growth if you adjust for those decisions to streamline the activities. Between the top line and the bottom line, you also notice that in terms of efficiency, is a lot more interesting than last year. Yes, our business is hinged on claims, but this year we've had a lot more benign claims experience. The loss ratio is much better than what it was last year. Our program of really improving efficiency and I wouldn't say cutting costs, but more or less optimizing costs, has also yielded dividends. Of course, you see the line on investment income. We've also achieved a very robust investment performance. Altogether led to the significant improvement in the bottom line. Okay, now let's talk about your portfolio mix. How is that changing between life and non-life business? Well, at the moment, the mix is still more towards the non-life. Although prospectively looking forward, you're most likely going to see a greater move towards the life segment, which is really where we see a lot of the opportunities. So for now, we're still doing a lot more of non-life, even though we're growing faster in the area of life. Okay, let's talk about the retail segment of the market, your approach to it, and how you plan to tap into that segment, if you are ready. Yes, well, the retail market to us is not just a single market. You can dimension it in a number of ways. You have the mass segment of the retail market, which is really the one that we typically call the bottom of the pyramid, which is where you have the bulk of the Nigerian populace. You certainly have to have a strategy that is different, targeted at that segment of the market. You also have the more affluent middle class type segment of the the retail market. We are approaching the retail market in segments, not just approaching the market with single product. Let's talk about your outlook for your earnings in the subsequent quarters. What kind of guidance can you give investors? We certainly see very strong earnings for the rest of the year, essentially because the number of the initiatives that we are putting in place, we expect the cash flow to start coming in from the second half of the year, essentially in the middle of Q3 and Q4. So we would expect second half year to be stronger than the first half year. Are you also looking to the potential to introduce new products into the Nigerian market? Yes, clearly. I mean, that's what we're built for. Perhaps that are tailor-made for the Nigerian public. Absolutely. That's what I was going to say. That's what we're built for in Cornerstone. The whole essence of our being is to to try to do things differently. And if you really want to do things differently, you have to look at it from the needs of the people. You have to look at what people are not looking at. You have to think differently. Interestingly, now just yesterday we launched our what I call our flagship product, which is essentially for the very first time in the history of this country, you have a bouquet of life and hospital cash cover given or offered to millions of Nigerians
for free.
Is this based on feedback from what the average Nigerian customer wants, or is just something you just feel like the Nigerians, this would be good for the Nigerian populace?
Absolutely, it's based on very deliberate review and research into what we consider to be the needs of the populace. In fact, if you are a close follower of the development in the microfinance and microinsurance world, what we have in the country, and that is backed up by evidence in 2012 when FINA did the research on financial inclusion. One of the conclusions they arrived at was that more than 45 million Nigerians, that's more than 52% of the adult population, concluded that they had experienced either death in the family or household or hospitalization. That same study further discovered that the 63% of the Nigerian adult population reported that the most significant disruption to family finances would typically come from either the loss of a loved one or hospitalization. And the key to it is that if you look at most of these people earn less than 18,000 naira a year, we don't have the benefit of insurance as you do have in other parts of the world. So coping with it, then people then either sell assets, they go into debt, or they do a sort of insurance.
We're going to have to leave you there. Thank you so much for talking us through the numbers, and hopefully we'll have you back with equally good numbers in the next quarter. It's been a pleasure. That was Ganiyu Musa, CEO Cornerstone Insurance, reviewing the company's second quarter results for this year.